Welcome everyone to my live stream. So this live stream is all about the gradient pattern overlay. So if you look at the outcome of the images here, I was also amazed of the results, and I was just experimenting on the overlays, and yeah, it's amazing. And so to explain what I did here is I created a pattern which looks like this. I stored that as a pattern in CorelDraw, and in CorelDraw, once I create like a rectangle like this, and if I add the pattern, if I go to interactive fill and I go to pattern, the pattern that I created will actually wrap around whatever object or shape you want. And then I added overlay to that. So anyway, so that's basically the overview. So let's start with a tutorial by but I'm gonna start by creating this pattern first, because this is very important in order to achieve that kind of effect. So first of all, what I did here, if you take a look at the structure of this pattern, right, you got like 1, 2, 3 columns and then 3 rows. So basically there's I made 9 grids, so 3 by 3, and then I cut, or I created these diagonal lines. So the first thing we have to do is to create a graph. So I click on the graph tool, and then while clicking on the graph tool, make sure to hold down Control and then click and drag. Okay, so hold down Control so that it's going to be a perfect square. Okay, and then I'm going to release. Okay, so once you release that, again, make sure that you are in view and then snap to object. So that's very important, so that you'll accurately snap on the edge or intersection. So I'm gonna go to my Bezier tool, and then I'm going to go to this node and to this node here, right? And then I'm also going to going back to my pick tool, and then click on the Bezier tool, and I'm gonna do the same thing here. So click here and then go like this. Okay, so and then go back again and then click on the Bezier, and then you go, I'm gonna start here, so click, and then I'm gonna go here, right? And what else? Again, the last one would do this one. So I go to my select tool and then go back to my Bezier, and then go like this. All right, so now we have the same pattern as this one. So the only thing we have to do here is we're going to fill this, okay, with different shades of gray, right? But before doing that, we are going to do a smart fill. Okay, so it's going to be individual. Okay, so I'm going to click here. So I'm just going to quickly fill this up, okay, with the smart fill tool, so that it's going to be individual elements, so that we can just do color sample here, and then fill it to this one here. Okay, so I go to my color eyedropper, and then I'm just going to click here and then fill, hold down Shift, click, release, fill, hold down Shift, sample that, and then fill, sample that, fill, sample that, fill. Okay, so I'm gonna do it with all of these triangles. Oops, sorry. So it's this one, I go this here. So this is the only time-consuming part. But once you've done this one, because we're going to make this as a pattern, and everything will be easy, because once you have the pattern, and then if you have a shape, it will fill up with that pattern. Okay, so I'm done here. So what I'm going to do, because see this one has white outline. So I'm going to select all of this and then right mouse click on my white here, right? Outline. Okay. Okay, so that looks good. And then I am going to go to, I'm going to group this first. Select this one and then group is this one here. Group. Okay, so now I'll click on this and then I go to Object, Create, Pattern Fill. Okay, might be different in the other earlier version of CorelDraw, but it's under Pattern Fill. So click on Pattern Fill, and then CorelDraw will ask, okay, you're creating a pattern. Do you want a vector, bitmap, or two color? Now we can't use a bitmap because these are not bitmaps. We are talking about vector, right? And it's not two colors. It's more than different shades. So we click on vector and then click OK. And then CorelDraw will give you this cropping tool. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna go make sure to go to that node and then click and drag to the other node. Make sure it snaps. Okay. So once it snaps, release and then accept. So once you click on accept, this one will show up. So it means to say that you have to name your pattern so it's easily, so you can find it easily. So I'm just gonna put here Alex pattern, and then tags. You don't need to put tags. And then here category. This was also important. Just put in it abstract and then click on save. All right. So now we have that pattern saved already. Now, just to give you an idea, I'm just gonna delete this one. So I've got this in okay, I got this in free it's Pixabay, so it's royalty free. So anyway, so I'm going to create a shape, right? So from here to here. Okay, so what I'll do so that we can analyze it, I'm just gonna move the rectangle that I made over here. Okay, so now I'm gonna fill this with a pattern. So I click on that and then I go to my interactive fill, and then under interactive fill you got some options here. I am going to go to this vector pattern fill. Okay, so the vector pattern fill is this one here, and it automatically did it because I just created and it's stored here. So these are the patterns that I created in the other tutorials. Okay, but right now this is the pattern that I just did. Okay, and then yeah, so that's it, right? So how the pattern works like this, right? So it's gonna fill up your shape. So if I expand this one, okay, if you take a look, it doesn't squeeze, right? Or it doesn't expand because it's a pattern fill. So now the only thing to do here is do the overlay. So I'm gonna put it here, make sure this is on top. Okay, I'm gonna remove the outline, so right mouse click here, I'm in the border. Okay, so now you go to your transparency tool. Okay, once you click on transparency tool, go to your uniform gradient, so your uniform transparency. So click on uniform transparency, and then right now it's in normal, so the effect is not that great, right? But if you go to overlay, and then it's a bit light, but if you drop this down to like around 7 or 8, you just play around with this one, and then enlarge this rectangle with the pattern fill, and that's what you get. So I'm just gonna snap it to the photo, and like that. It's amazing, right? So it just makes some really neat and cool effect. So I'm gonna do it with this one too. So I'm going to basically you can even create a circle, right? And then fill this up with your pattern, interactive fill, and then pattern. And then I'm gonna remove the outline. I mean, just to experiment, right? And then go to transparency, and then go to uniform transparency, and then make this overlay, and drop this down to say 7, or you can even drop it down to 0, and see those. That's the effect that you're gonna get, right? So I'll just make the whole rectangle, because that's I think that's a better option. So I go to interactive fill, and then go to pattern, and then go to your transparency, uniform transparency, and put this to overlay, and then you can even drop this to 0 like that. That's it. I like it. I like it so much. Like, you can even print this and then give it as a gift. So you can do it the same thing with this one. So what I'll do, in order to make it a shortcut, I'm just going to go plus sign on my keyboard to duplicate that, and then drop this down here. And there. There you go. So I hope you like this tutorial or this live stream. Every day I really explore the what CorelDraw can do, and this is kind of like my adventure, and I get excited when I discover some features like this, which you don't really see in other videos in other channels. So that's what my objective. So anyway, if you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so that you'll be notified, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.